Hello viewers, welcome to yet another exciting edition of your must-watch program, Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am Hawasani Garba.
I am Murna Barnabas Atiaye. ICPC has the mandate to investigate report of corrupt practices, prosecute offenders, prevent corruption through system review, and carry out public enlightenment and education. These are implemented through various departments and units of the Commission. One of such departments is the Special Duties Department, SDD, which has the responsibility to carry out duties of a special kind and to undertake the investigation of special cases.
The department handles fraudulent activities of land racketeers, carries out sting operation where there are complaints of corrupt demands by public officials and other duties. This is our area of focus on today's edition.
Also today, we shall continue in our explanation of some provisions of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. A lawyer in our legal department will be speaking to that. We have anti-corruption stories around the world and are featuring other exciting segments in the course of this program. Let's now bring you updates on the fight against corruption after this timeout.
They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better. Let's make Nigeria great again. ICPC, they want to hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Welcome to this segment of your program, Corruption Must Go. ICPC has arraigned one engineer, Innocent Roland Ogu, and his company, African Legacy International Media Services, before Honorable Justice Mary Ann E. Aneni of Federal High Court 12, sitting in Maitama, for deceiving and fraudulently collecting the sum of 1,488,000 naira only from 5 public officers. The Commission, in a 2-count charge, alleged that the accused had made false statement, thereby contravening Section 25, Subsection 1A of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000, and punishable under Section 25, Subsection 1B of the same Act. The accused was alleged to have cheated the Director General of the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria, Mrs. Joy Bob Manuel, and 4 other members of staff by deceiving them to deliver to him the money as conference registration, accommodation, and visa processing fees for them to attend an African-European Leadership Summit in Berlin, Germany, which turned out not to be true, thereby committing an offense contrary to and punishable under Section 322 of the Penal Code Act, Cap 345. The accused persons pleaded not guilty to the charges, and the trial judge, Justice Aneni, granted them bail in the sum of 1 million naira, with a surety in like sum. The matter was then adjourned to 28 September 2017 for hearing.
ICPC's spokesperson, Mrs. Rashidat Okodwa, has declared that corruption was a recurring problem in Nigeria because of a weak and faulty system which the Commission is working assiduously to address. Okodwa, who spoke at a training program for chairmen and secretaries of anti-corruption and transparency units on data gathering and investigation skills, held at the ICPC Training Academy, Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria, Kefi, Nasarawa State, said that Nigeria's challenge with corruption was not primarily due to bad people, but a bad system. Okodwa explained that the training was therefore designed to equip the participants with the right tools to combat corruption in their workplaces in order to correct and improve their systems.
Once you breach a procedure, I don't care for whatever altruistic purpose, you have punctured a hole in the system. You have created a precedent for others to follow or cite as an example. Hello? So it's important to remember that even if you are trying to be nice or kind, or you didn't need to put anything in your pocket, you didn't do it for any personal gain, once you circumvent procedure, then you do something wrong.
Earlier, Provost of Akan, Professor Shola Akiriade, who was represented by the head of programs in the academy, Mr. Richard Bello, emphasized the need for ACT2 members to be well skilled in data gathering processes to aid the anti-corruption fight.
The work of the anti-corruption agencies, particularly that of the ICPC, will be much easier when data corruption and related issues is readily available. As members of ACTUS, your role is in no little way supposed to complement the efforts of the work of the ICPC, whether in enlightenment, investigation, or systems activities, or indeed in any of our functions. The need readily to get readily available data cannot be emphasized. I therefore challenge us to make best use of the 3 days that we're going to be here to sharpen our skills and enhance our performance as actual members in our various organizations.
Over 217 ACT2 members drawn from various government agencies participated in the 3-day training workshop.
ICPC Chairman Mr. Ekbo Nta has advised newly inaugurated ACT2 members of the State House, Abuja, to discharge their duties with a good sense of responsibility. Mr. Ntawu was represented by Mr. Justin Kwatsi of the Corruption Monitoring and Evaluation Department, gave the advice during the inauguration of the new members of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit of the State House in Abuja.
I do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear
That as a member of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit.
That as a member of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit
of
the State House,
will display high levels of personal integrity.
Will display high level of personal integrity
And accountability.
He solicited the cooperation of Nigerians in the anti-corruption campaign.
We believe that you owe Nigeria a lot in terms of ensuring that there is no corruption or no corrupt practices in what you do in a hallowed place like this State House where we are. So I want to encourage members of the unit to work very hard to ensure that both the politicians and the civil servants are working in sync with the aspirations of Mr. President, so that at the end of the day, Nigeria will benefit from it all.
In his remarks at the event, the Permanent Secretary, State House, Jalal A. Arabi, represented by the Director of Administration, Muhammad Abubakar, said the inauguration of the members was a continuation of the existing ACT2 in the State House.
It's an honor to have you among us, and it is more of an honor to have you among us on a day you are inaugurating the State House chapter of ACT2 again, to continue the work that they had done over the last chapter, to sensitize, to educate, to enlighten, to strengthen, to guard, to help, and to guide us away from corruption towards a corruption-free State House, and by extension, a corruption-free civil service and a corruption-free nation.
In another development, a 68-year-old man, Mr. Dimwa Increase, has been convicted by Rivers State High Court 12, sitting in Port Harcourt, for using forged documents to get himself enrolled on the Rivers State government pension payroll. Mr. Increase was sentenced to a jail term of 1 month by Justice M.O. Okbara with no option of fine after the accused pleaded guilty to the charge that had been preferred against him. The accused had earlier been arraigned before the court by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) on a one-count charge bordering on fraudulent receipt of property, which is contrary to Section 13 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000 and punishable under Section 68 of the same Act. Mr. Increase was accused of collecting pension payments from Rivers State government using forged documents for 9 years before he was picked up by ICPC operatives during one of the pension verification exercises in Port Harcourt. The trial judge then adjourned the case for conviction, during which the accused pleaded for leniency, telling the court that his wife had died, leaving him with 9 children. The judge therefore convicted him and adjourned the matter for sentencing, ruling that the convict be remanded in prison custody until then. During sentencing, the judge, taking cognizance of the convict's guilty plea and family circumstances, decided to lower his punishment to 1 month imprisonment out of a maximum 2 years prescribed by the relevant section of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000.
On the foreign scene, rallies against corruption took place in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and in many other cities across Russia. These rallies were accompanied by detentions. According to various estimates, more than 1,000 demonstrators were arrested and dozens of people are still in custody. Transparency International and Transparency International Russia condemned the massive police detention of civilians. Article 31 of the Russian Constitution guarantees citizens the right to assemble peacefully without weapons and hold rallies, meetings, and demonstrations. Corruption in society should be eliminated, as it is the cause of protest. People who gather in peaceful protest against corruption should not be arrested or prosecuted. A retired Navy captain who served as the U.S. Naval Attaché to the Philippines was recently sentenced to 41 months in prison for helping a foreign defense contractor evade vessels and cargo inspections by using diplomatic cover. Michael Brooks, 57, of Fairfax Station, Virginia, appeared in federal court in San Diego. He was also ordered to pay a $41,000 fine and $31,000 in restitution to the U.S. Navy. Brooks pleaded guilty in November 2016 to 1 count of conspiracy to committing bribe. He served as the naval attaché at the U.S. Embassy in Manila, Philippines from 2006 to 2008. He admitted accepting travel and entertainment expenses, among others, from Leonard Glyn Francis and his firm, Glyn Defense Marine Asia. In return, Brooks secured quarterly diplomatic clearances for GDMA vessels that allowed the vessels to move into and out of the Philippines under the diplomatic cover of the U.S. Embassy. With diplomatic cover, the vessels avoided cargo inspections and paid little or no taxes and duties. Francis, 51, a Malaysian national, also known as Fat Leonard, pleaded guilty in U.S. federal courts to bribing dozens of Navy officials. He is awaiting to be sentenced.
Let's we join hands with ICPC, make them better. Let's make Nigeria great again. ICPC, they want to hand for corruption. Corruption not in my country.
Give him his shoes somewhere here, his phone and everything.
Bye bye.
Hey, Oga, where do you think you are going?
Home. You never shake body. You never shake body.
Shake body, see?
Never shake body.
I don't get combo for my body.
You go take for here. Sit down there.
What's this man still doing here?
They say I do shake body. I shake body, I shake body. They say I do this. And I say I don't get combo.
You are asking for money.
Sorry, ma'am.
Asking for money.
to bail a suspect is an act of corruption. Both of you will be punished. Corruption is not allowed within the force. Remember,
Police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
This is Corruption Must Go. As mentioned earlier, the Special Duties Department of ICPC engages in special investigations. These investigations may be triggered by information derived from a petitioner or report in the electronic or print media. Today on the program, Deputy Commissioner, Special Duties Department, Malam Muhammad Ali, speaks on the activities of the department.
Please introduce yourself.
Well, I am Muhammad Ali, the head of Special Duties Department of the Commission.
Sir, the department, as you mentioned, is referred to as Special Duties Department. What is that special function, or what are those functions that the department carries out for the Commission?
The Special Duties Department is a creation of the Commission, which is saddled with the responsibility of general investigation. Apart from the general investigation, the special functions that are assigned to the department is in the area of sting operation. Sting operation, as you rightly know, is an undercover operation. This is a strategy adopted by the Commission to arrest any persons that demand bribe or gratification. Secondly, we carry out intelligence gathering on corrupt practices and corrupt persons, which lead to investigation. Thirdly, we also carry out vetting on prospective appointees, those persons that are to be given national honors, companies that are to be incorporated. Normally, these requests are received from some of our sister agencies, especially from the Department of State Services, the police, and the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Do you provide, or does the department provide protection for your petitioners or those who report cases to you?
Yes, we do. A provision has already been made in the Act for protection of anybody who gives information to the Commission in respect of an offense that is committed or likely to be committed. The Commission gives protection to the petitioners in line with Section 64, subsection 1 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000, which provides the protection for informers and information. It states that the identity of the petitioner shall not be disclosed in any circumstance except to the trial judge and the defense counsel in attendance in any civil or criminal or any other matters in a court of law or tribunal. Section 64, subsection 3, provides for imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years for any person who willfully makes false information and knowingly gives to the commission information to an officer of the commission which is intended to mislead, and therefore there is already a provision in the act that make prescribe punishment for willful and malicious complaints against persons.
Let's we join hands with ICPC, make them better. Let's make Nigeria great again. ICPC, they want you. Come on, hand for corruption.
In continuation of our Know the Act segment, Inosa Omogibo explains Section 49 of the ICPC law as regards dealing with property after seizure by ICPC.
Subsection 49 is a follow-up of the provisions in subsection 48. In subsection 49, it is possible for a situation to arise where someone who is aware that his property has been seized to want to try to quickly dispose of these properties, maybe to sell them off, or to even attempt to get credit facility from a bank by having that property as a collateral. So what this subsection 49 prohibits is such dealings after notice of a seizure of the property has been issued on the owner of those properties. Subsection 49 says that any such dealings is null and void and shall not be registered or otherwise given any effect to by any person or any authority. But there's an exception created in this subsection 49. The exception is to the extent that the property is dealt with by the government of the Federation or an agent of the government of the Federation for purposes of maintaining or giving effect to the seizure of the property in question.
Let's we join hands with ICPC, make them better. Let's make Nigeria great again. ICPC, they want you. Come on, hand for corruption. Corruption not in my country.
Give him his shoes somewhere here, his phone and everything.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Oga, where do you think you are going?
Oh, you never shake body. You never shake body.
Shake body, see. I no get combo for my body.
You go take for here.
Sit down there. How come, man?
What's this man still doing here?
They say I do shake body. I shake body, I shake body. They say I do this. And I say I no get combo.
You are asking for money.
Sorry, man.
Asking for money to bail a suspect is an act of corruption. Both of you will be punished. Corruption is not allowed within the force. Remember,
Police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
That's our contribution on this week's edition of Corruption Must Go.
You can also watch this program via our YouTube channel www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. You can also reach us on our toll-free line 0800 call ICPC.
Thank you for watching and see you again next week. I am Hawasani Garba.
And I am Murna Barnabas Atiai. Bye for now.